Hey, hey. Hello, Facebook. Hello, YouTube. I'm streaming to multiple platforms right now. So, depending on where you are, hello, hello. Leave me a comment. Let me know if you're watching the replay. I just sent out an email to invite some friends to come and check the beta of Kartra 7.0 out with me. So, if you're hopping on live, hello, hi. So, I'm excited. Oops, I think I am sharing the wrong tab. There we go. Okay. So, 7.0 is coming. It's in beta right now, and Kartra has rolled out the beta available to all users. So, if you log into your account today, you are able to see at the top of the screen your invite to check out that welcome to the beta, the Kartra beta sandbox. So, what I wanted to do is just hop on live with you guys, go through it. I've been testing it out for a while. There have been some changes that have even been made while I've been testing it, and we're able to leave our feedback, and I'll show you how to do that as well. Um, so, it is a great opportunity to get used to the way things are going to be before you're forced to. And it gives you the opportunity to kind of have a voice in how the development of 7.0 is going to go, right? So that's exciting. All right. Let's take a look. Let me take this banner off. Okay, great. And let me get where I can see the comments. If you're on live right now and you can see and hear me, just let me know everything sounds good. You can see the screen, all of that good stuff. You know how tech goes. I also want to just real quick share this out to some groups. Sec. Let me get in here. All right. So let me know in the comments if you have already taken a look. Have you played around with it yet? Share this to group, post. Wonderful. Share group, post. Okay. All right. Back. Here we go. So at the top of your regular Kartra account, you're going to see the welcome to Kartra beta sandbox. And if you click on the learn more, it'll open you up into the beta, like the beta account. It's a separate Kartra installation. It's a separate app. But you can use the same login. You're going to log in here and see what things will look like. So you're not going to see your own stuff. And if you create stuff here, it's not going to carry over into your account. This is truly like a sandbox area where you can play around with it, but you're not going to be like switching over just yet. So that's important to note. I don't want you to be building anything out and expect that it's going to carry over into your into your account or that you can keep it. Also, this gives you an opportunity to come in here and get used to the way things are going to look without having to just have it be forced on you when the changes happen, right? Okay. So, first thing we'll notice, and one of the biggest parts of the change is to make brand new users to make their experience a lot easier. Because as those of you know who are Kartra users already, you know that um, there's some vocabulary that's specific to Kartra. There are ways of doing things and setting things up that are pretty unique to Kartra if you're coming over from other platforms. Oh, great, Greg. Thank you. Um, and getting used to that kind of thing can be can be kind of tough. It can be a roadblock for new users, and especially new users who are new to marketing as well, right? They're new to the whole shebang. So if you click on your Get Started tab over there in the top left, you're going to see this Let's Get Started pop up. This is what it will look like for brand new users who are, hey, Christine, who are just coming in onboarding. And what it's going to kind of look like here is it's going to ask what they plan to do right off the bat. And just so that you know, um, you're not getting locked into anything here. If you choose one of these items, right, you can still come back and set up a course if you choose grow a mailing list, but then you want to do the course. Basically, the goal of this part right here is just to have something be in their account that they can work from rather than coming into a Kartra account with nothing in there and have to figure it out from scratch. Now, this is a feature down here that I requested. I'm so glad to see it here. It says, got a code added here, or you can explore the marketplace for more campaigns. So when you click on one of these tabs, sell a book, grow a mailing list, sell a course, sell consultancy services or coaching, okay, it's going to give you a campaign. And you can then import this campaign into your account and kind of go with that. If you are using Kartra because you bought a course or a program and your coach is giving you a campaign share code right off the bat, you can pop this in here and import that in. So I love that. It really makes that onboarding process of if you're a coach sharing a campaign with your students, makes it really easy for them to kind of get in and jump in and get started. And then you can also just click over to the marketplace. Hey, Wendy. Um, and take a look at other campaigns that, so let's see, I think that opened up into here. So then that opens you up into the marketplace where you can take a look at a bunch of other campaigns. Let me go back to here. Okay. Um, oops. Let's see. I may have lost my screen share there. Okay. Hopefully that fixed that. Okay. So you pick one of these. Let's grow our mailing list and let's go with blue and click on start. And it's going to generate our assets for us. Is a campaign like a marketing funnel or like a membership? So, a campaign is all of the assets that are made up, like that make up that whole campaign. So, like a marketing funnel, yes, it would be the pages, the list, the form, the product, all of it. So, anything that somebody puts into a campaign. So, like, if you were to buy my coach website and funnel template, right? That's a campaign. And when I give you the campaign share code and you import it in, it is going to unpack all of those assets, all the website pages, the lead magnet funnel, the course area, the course login page, the product to sell your course, like all of it. Um, and that's not new to Kartra. That is just something that's kind of being brought to the forefront for newer users in the onboarding process. And of course, we have access to the campaigns as well. So, all right, watch this to get started. It's got this video here that we can watch that's going to give you some instructions on how to go through the assets in your campaign. Now, the nice thing here is that it's also going to show you everything that's part of this campaign. So, in this specific one, we've got our lead generation page in blue. We've got our lead generation thank you. We've got our form. That's the part on the page where someone's going to put in their name and email. And we've got our list. So, just in case this was the very first thing you were doing, which in this case in onboarding it is, they need a mailing list to be able to subscribe the new leads that fill out the form to. So, the mailing list is added in here. We've got the ability to watch the training videos on each of these assets, and we have the ability to mark it as done. So we can mark our own progress going through this, which is pretty cool. Okay. Now, the awesome thing for those of you that are watching, if you create campaigns yourself, so if you're a coach, you're a course creator, or you create templates for the Kartra marketplace, one of the cool things about putting your own campaigns into the marketplace now is that we have the ability to replace these videos. So when we click on watch video here, this is going to be a Kartra video on how to edit the pages. But if this were my campaign and I was selling it in the marketplace, I could put my own training video up there. Okay. So this is so cool, and it makes it a lot easier to sell campaigns in the marketplace because you don't have to then give them access to somewhere else where you have the training, and they don't have to log in to one of your memberships where they can watch the training. They literally get to watch your training right inside of their Kartra account. So for those of you using Kartra to actually create for Kartra users and sell, it is so cool. It is really, really a great um feature, great new feature. Um okay, so in the campaigns now we can work our way through this campaign and basically get set up with a lead magnet really quickly. So we've got this simple page. We're going to go in and edit the things that need to get edited, right? Okay. So on the left-hand side, you'll notice that the sidebar is going to be different. Things are in a different order than they are currently, and they've been consolidated a bit here. Let me turn me off. Okay. So over here on the left, we've got campaigns at the top, and that kind of makes sense now that we see that Kartra really wants somebody to get in and kind of have something to start with, not just starting from a blank slate and trying to go find where something might be that they can that they can use that's put all together. So campaigns is at the top. Next, we've got pages. Luckily, you'll probably be happy to know that a lot about the page editor is not going to change in 7.0. We just had that recent release that updated the way the page builder is. So that's not going to be like overhauled again now. We're going to be in you're going to still what is know like your way around the page builder in that aspect of it. Okay, so let's take a look at our lead generation blue page. We can click the pencil and we go right into the page. Did you notice that we didn't have to check the name of it and the category? We didn't have to do that step. We go right into the builder. Um, do I know when that Christine, that's a great question. Do I know when 7.0 goes live? No, I don't know that for sure. And I think that I don't believe that there's any official date on that because the way that they're working this rollout and giving all users the ability to get into the sandbox and test beta is that we have the ability to give feedback. So you'll if you're in here playing around, you'll even notice that things will be changing probably, maybe even day to day as they take the feedback and iterate. There are some things that need to still get worked on. So I don't know if there's a specific date just yet. If there is, I don't know of it. I can check, but I think it's kind of a work in progress as well right now, which is cool. Um, okay. So we see that we do still have one of those walkthroughs here, the tutorial. The nice thing about it now is that we have the buttons at the bottom are all in the same place. So if you've ever worked in an account where you've had to deal with these and you didn't hit the button to not show again, you know that it can be annoying that those buttons move around. So if you want to click, 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 click to get through it, it can be annoying. So they now are in a fixed position down here. You can say don't show again. But then we get into the builder. You can see that it does look like, it does look like what we have right now. So like I said, no huge changes on that. Um, if you go right into the builder, where do you get the chance to pull in the global elements? So I will show you that when we go back out into pages, rather than clicking the pencil and coming straight into here, there's a place where you can edit that without having to come in here. So it kind of separates those two things. Whereas right now we have to do both in order to do one. Now we'll be able to choose which one we want to be doing. Okay. So one of the updates that I don't know if it's live in here yet or if it's something that's being worked on, but it is going to be that when we select a font, it will be universal. When we select color, we can update all of the assets. So I'm not quite sure if that's live in here right now. If we were to, edit something, are we able to do that? But I think it is on the roadmap and coming. So where we would be able to maybe say like all the buttons on the page, please make them this blue, which is cool. Let's cross fingers that that does make it in before 7.0 goes live. Okay, so let's return to the dashboard, back out to pages. And you'll see the pencil to edit is what we clicked to end up right into the builder. If we click the settings gear, this is where we are able to put in the category and put in the site and then import those global elements from your site. Okay. So the nice thing about it is just that we don't have to do this step to get into the editor. And if we don't have to go into the editor after doing this. If we click edit to save that, it just sends us right back out here. So those two are separated. And I think that's really going to streamline your ability to work through when you're editing your pages. Okay, other than that, we still have split tests and analytics in the same place we'd expect them. One of the big changes that I think is going to take a little getting used to. Just because if you're working in Kartra often and you have the muscle memory of always going down to the bottom right to click the plus, add new page, add new form, add new whatever, it's now in the top right. So it goes from the bottom right to the top right for whatever reason. But everything is going to be up here in the top right now. And luckily, it still is blue. So over on the left-hand side, back to that sidebar where we've got our pages, then the next thing down is going to be memberships. And like now, we have our memberships, portals, and our comments. So that's very similar to the grouping we have right now. Um, it's just over in the left-hand drop down rather than up along the top once we get in here. But those things are grouped nicely. I think that makes sense. The next one down is going to be your contacts. And under the contacts tab, we have all contacts, which is going to be your leads. We have our forms. We have lists, surveys, and we have imports. And so when we're importing our contacts, again, it's going to be that top right now rather than the bottom right. But our imports are basically going to be here showing us when we've added imports. So a little more information for us on that side of things. And then all the other things that are related to your leads, like your forms, your lists, surveys, are all under the contacts tab. What do you guys think of that? I think it's a pretty good organizational, um, you know, place to put all that stuff. Underneath that one is going to be sales. And here we have our products, affiliates, self billing, sales tax, and payments. Christine, you really like it. Yeah, I think it's a good, it makes sense where to find those things, right? Once you get used to the new sidebar layout, I don't think it's very confusing to find things. Okay, so now we're on to our sales tab. And under our sales, we've got our products, affiliates, self-billing, sales tax, and payments. So under payments, that's where we'll find our transaction data, our subscription data, and our analytics. Sales tax is where we'll set up our sales tax for the account. Self-billing looks similar to what it is currently, right? Easy to set up. Our affiliate settings here, this is where we'll manage our affiliates. Our overall affiliate settings looks very similar to what it is now. We'll see that payment history of what we've paid our affiliates, and we'll see some analytics on the affiliate data. Okay. And then our products ourselves themselves. Under products here, we have products and coupons. So coupons is kind of still under the products tab, which it is currently. Not on the left hand sidebar, though, you do have to click into your products in order to get to your coupons. And again, that add coupon up here is on the top right. Now, when we're editing stuff, so let me actually, I can't complete my product because obviously you can't complete a product setup unless you have a a integration for your payment processor, which I'm not going to do in the sandbox. But I want to go over to memberships and just go to the membership that I have set up in here, this one right here. So, same thing that, like with setting up the page, you don't have to. You don't have to go through all of the steps. So this is pretty cool. When we pop in here, we go straight to the contents, which is nice because most of the time when we're coming into our membership, we're actually adding content to it, right? But we can switch back to settings over here. But watch this. If I wanted to edit my welcome message, I can click right over to that welcome step in the setup. So this is one of the big things that I think existing members are going to be excited about is the ability to click over to the step that you want to get to really quickly. You no longer have to go through the whole process to get to that part of what you want to set up in each thing. So how cool is that? I think this is a huge one everyone's going to be happy about. Okay. So then under sales, we've got marketing. So this marketing tab, it's been changed a little bit. I'm glad to see that underneath marketing, we do have our broadcasts, which is now labeled emails and SMS, and we have our sequences in the same place. So previously they were in the changes so far. They were separated, and I really thought it would be good if the broadcasts and the sequences, so the two ways where we email, are under the same tab. So they're now under this marketing tab. And emails are called emails here. They're still referred to broadcasts here, like where you see search broadcasts, it still refers to them as broadcasts. But up here in this tab, it's referred to as emails. So just trying, I think, to get around somebody brand new to Kartra, maybe not knowing what a certain thing like an email is called. So where do I look for that, right? So if you're looking under marketing and you see emails and SMS, pretty much makes it easy to know, okay, if I want to email my list, I'm going to go to that tab. So I'm really liking that. And I am liking that they did move sequences right underneath that because I do think it is important to keep those two near each other because they are the two ways that you are able to email your list, right? Either with a broadcast or an email that goes out when you send it right now or when you schedule it. And then also those sequences that can contain those emails that go in there. Okay. So, same thing with editing sequences. We have a pencil that's going to be edit. And then we also have our settings, which is going to be the name. And they are, um, and they are separated out. So you no longer have to do the two. So let's go through the tutorial real quick and get in here. So the builder in here is not changing. This is probably a big relief for those of you that are used to things and don't like change too much. I'm one of those people. So glad to see that there wasn't really a need to make changes in here and they're not. So if we'd done an exit out of there, the big change here is that if you wanted to rename this, you're going to click the gear, and that's where you get to the name of the sequence and the public description. It's not a step right before you get into the editor. They're two separate things. So I do love that. And if you guys who are on live with me right now, if you have questions, please feel free to drop them in the chat. Um, I'm happy to answer anything while we're here together. Okay. And if you're liking things, let me know. Be sure to also like. And if you are not already following, you can follow or subscribe. But definitely share this out with your friends who use Kartra. If you have a group of, if you have a group of people or your followers or your students use Kartra as well, feel free to share and definitely please give me a like and a follow or subscribe if you're finding value. Okay, next up underneath there, we've got our automations. So these are if thens, right? And we have our funnels and tracking. So the funnels, I get asked a lot about what the funnels do. Like, do we need to use them? Are they what ties together your assets to make it into a funnel? Do we need to do that in order to launch it? And the answer is no. The funnels are more of a visual representation. If you feel like you like to see your assets connected together in a visual representation of that, that's what funnels really does for you. Um, you can also see real-time analytics. I think that that's not so super helpful to people who have a trickling amount of traffic and not a fire hose worth, right? So seeing live analytics when you are running massive traffic to your funnel can be a good thing. But if you have, 10 page visits a day, it's not really that exciting to sit and watch the live analytics of it. But you can see that it allows you to kind of draw out a visual representation of your funnel. Important to note that these things do not actually connect anything. It's a visual representation of what is or what you want to build, what you put together. It is not actually what connects things together into a funnel or makes them happen, right? Makes them be the thing. Hi, Lori. Thank you so much. I'm glad you're finding value. I love that. Thank you. All right, Wendy, I've not yet explored campaigns or funnels. You feel so behind. So, actually, I mean, for most Kartra users, you won't need to explore campaigns or funnels unless you want to use a campaign that's pre built for you. So you can go into the marketplace, you can take a look at campaigns that experts and other marketers have built that they're selling in there. You could look at the campaigns that Kartra has built. Um, they're helpful if you don't want to start from scratch and you want kind of things already laid out for you that you go in and customize, rather than build. Other than that, campaigns are really if you are going to build something that you're sharing. So if you were building something to share with your clients, you could put it all together in a campaign and share out. So that's helpful. And as far as the funnels, I mean, for me, I find visually drawing things out on something like SketchWow or Canva or even a Google Slide, something like that, a little bit easier to do because you can just free form kind of draw things out. Or, if you're old school, get out the pen and paper or a whiteboard. But but yeah, you don't really need to use the funnels section of Kartra. It is nice because it's got a pretty layout, but you do need to kind of drag and drop in an exact way and space it out exactly. So it can be kind of time consuming to do it just for a visual representation. But like I said, it's important to know that it's not what makes things happen. It's not what turns assets into a funnel. That's you actually going in and connecting the dots. And that's always going to be the case. And if you use a campaign, so when do you usually create your own? Yeah, a lot of my students, members, and clients do. We create our own because there's so many great templates for pages that we can mix and match. There are so many different sections in Kartra that we can use on our pages to customize them, that really sticking only to pre-built campaigns can really box you in to just a certain look. Um, it can also add in a lot of assets that you don't need. So, how in the beginning of this, demo here, we imported that campaign. Let me see if I can get us back to our campaign that we did. Um, and it brought in a list. Well, if we're starting out from scratch in Kartra, we do need a main list, right? We do need this mailing list here. But if I've been using Kartra, I already have my primary list, I already have my newsletter list. I import a sales campaign and it brings in 3 new lists that I do not need. I then have to go and clean that up and edit and delete them and clean them out, because otherwise, if you're putting in a lot of campaigns to kind of see what's out there, see what they look like, try them on for size, you can really end up with a lot of lists and tags and things like that that you really don't need. Also, I don't really feel like um having a product, for example, inside of a campaign that's already set up, if you have to go in and make a lot of changes, there's no real difference in the time that it takes to go in and edit assets for a campaign that's already done for you than it is to start and create your own product from scratch and just connect the dots between the two pages it needs to. Personally, I like to teach the skills so that you are able to create everything from scratch if you need to. And that does carry over into being really easily able to edit done for you campaigns. Um, and having that skill to do both, I think, is the best way to be able to really maximize your use of Kartra. Um, Not to say that I'm anti-campaign, because I do actually really think that having that new get started tab and having that onboarding where Kartra asks a brand new user, do you want to start with, a campaign that maybe your coach gave you, or do you want to start with one of our simple campaigns? It just alleviates that staring at a blank screen, not sure what to do next. So campaigns definitely have their place. I just do think that I'm a big fan of, going through and building from scratch, using, not saying scratch like blank pages, but using the templates in Kartra. There are so many. So you are definitely not behind. Um, So, Wendy, you can absolutely click yes to the sandbox because it will take you into a separate login for the sandbox area. Changing, like saying yes to the sandbox, is not changing anything in your actual live account. And the things that you do when you're playing around in the sandbox don't carry over back into your account. So, they are not connected. This is not where you are switching what your Kartra account looks like. We are still in live Kartra where you are used to. The 7.0 is a beta sandbox. So when you opt to come in here and kind of take a look at it and play around, you're literally just demoing it like I am. You're playing around in here. It is not actually changing anything for your own live stuff. And you do not want to be creating something in here that you want to keep because this is just a sandbox area. Great question. Okay. So that's where we have our marketing. Tracking is down here. So tracking has actually moved down to marketing from, kind of what you it used to be in what would be probably sales now, because tracking currently for us is in products. So we would go into our products tab to get to tracking. But it does make sense to be under the marketing tab because if you're creating tracking links, you're usually tracking your marketing, you're tracking maybe where a link is being used. So you have a tracking link for your email, you have a tracking link for your Instagram bio, that kind of thing. So you can see which traffic source is doing better, right? Um, and if you didn't know, a lot of people don't know, but Kartra does have the ability to have page tracking. And page tracking is really for actually creating a code snippet that you would go and put on a page on a different platform so that Kartra is able to track things that happen on that page, similar to if you were using a Kartra page. So for those of you that have a WordPress website or you're using multiple platforms, you can actually create an embeddable tracking code that you go and pop onto your other pages so that Kartra can know what's going on those pages as well. Um, this is cookie based, so I don't really know in practice how 100% accurate that might be, based on what browser someone's using, what device, all of that. But this definitely still is something that you can try out and use to add some more additional tracking on those websites that are outside of Kartra. How fun. I'm going to have to play in the sandbox. Yes, absolutely. I hope you do. I think it's a really good idea to do this because it does give you just that. Even if, you're not a marketer, you're spending most of your time working on your own business, I get it. You may not wanna come in here and play around as much as I am. So you could always just, of course, watch this replay like you are or be on live with me here and watch this. But I think it's important to at least pop into the sandbox and try it out just a little bit to navigate things so that it isn't a big, big change to you when it does go live. So the sandbox is just to navigate and practice. Exactly. Exactly. So this is just a sandbox area, which means it's not actually like live. Anything that you do in here, you're not breaking anything. You can build something out if you wanted to, but you're not going to be able to keep it. You're not going to be able to pull it into your real account. Nothing carries over back and forth. So when you log into your sandbox and you go to, for example, contacts, you're not going to see all of your leads. They're not going to be in here. If you set up a funnel and you go ahead and opt in to see how everything works, like that kind of stuff, a lot of that main processes are not changing. So there's no real reason to you don't want to build out a full funnel that you'd love to use because you're not going to be able to keep it, right? We're just in here to kind of play around, look at where things are, see the differences in the processes, and that's about it. So we can see here In forms, again, this is another place where they've separated out the design and the settings. So if we click on settings, we're going to come into the steps to setting up a form. There, we can click back and forth between them. We don't have to go through the wizard like we used to, where we'd have to go through step by step by step. And one of the things that's really cool about the new forms setup is that, setting up a form used to be, I believe it's 32 or 35 clicks we need to have to go through our current existing setup of the form, right? We have a lot of clicks we have to do. We have a lot of things, a lot of pieces to the puzzle. Inside of forms in this new 7.0, we actually can get a form, I think it is with 3 clicks as a minimum, right? Now, there are things that we will obviously want to customize, but in some platforms where we don't have as much control, as much customization, you know that you can set up a form really quickly because there is no thank you page, let's say. There's just a thank you message that says you've been subscribed. Now, we don't always want that. In fact, if you're marketing your business, you probably very much so want control over that thank you page that someone goes to after they opt in. However, if you're brand new or you're making a form and you want to make it really quick on the fly, you may not want to um you may not want to have to set up a specific thank you page. Let's say this is just a quick waitlist form or it's a contact form and you don't really need a custom thank you page. So in 7.0, there is going to be this default page here. Use Kartra's default page and let's preview it. And it just says thank you. Now, like I said, most of us, if you're at a point where you have already created pretty custom thank you pages, like myself, when I get a thank you page style that I like, I typically use it and I clone it and customize for each new thing, right? I'm never starting from blank, but I have pages that have the assets that I want on the thank you page because the thank you page is a missed opportunity if we're really just saying thank you like this. However, if you are just getting started and your goal is to just get a form up, right? Just get started, it can be overwhelming to be like, oh, shoot, I didn't realize you need to go create a thank you page. Now, of course, if you're working with my blueprint or my Kartra blueprint of the steps that you're going to build in, you know that we always build our 2 pages first. So we always have them in our form or our product, but not everybody knows that. Not everybody uses the blueprint. So this just gives you the opportunity to have something if you need to get something up and running real quick, or if you're new and you don't have a thank you page yet. It is an option, and by default, if you're just creating a new form, it's going to go with that one. Of course, we have the ability to still use our custom page, so we're not losing any functionality. Kartra is just adding in a few features that make things a lot easier for somebody brand new to not hit a roadblock here and get frustrated. I personally think that is super cool. What do you guys think? I love that we're not losing any type of our customization, our functionality, but Kartra is moving towards being um, a lot more easy to set up for somebody brand new in here. You don't get frustrated. You're not like, oh my gosh, why do I have to go back and forth? And you can always come back and then use your custom page. But right out of the gate, to have something default there, I think it's great. Okay. Um, and like I said, with some of those other things we've been looking at, like pages, like the page builder, the membership builder, we can click through our settings and we do not have to go through step after step after step to get where we want to go. Okay. All right. Where were we? We were down into we did tracking under marketing. So then in the left-hand sidebar, the next thing we're going to see is events. And I think I'm covering that up. There we go. So under events, we've got two things. We've got calendars and webinars. So your calendars are in here and your webinars. And I think that makes sense. I think it's a logical place to go look for things like a webinar that you set up or your calendar so people can schedule with you. So those are under the events tab. And then there is the help desks tab here. So we have our help desks, we have our tickets, and we have our live chat, all under that tab of help desks. Now, then in the very bottom left, we've got our media center, which is similar to what we have right now: videos, images, audios, and files, and everything's under our media center. So it's all, it's all categorized under that tab. Then we have our settings. Our settings, we have our account settings, our email notifications, and our integrations. So that's a little different than what we are used to right now with our email notifications and our account settings being up in the top right. So we'll go up to that top right underneath our profile pic in just a minute. We'll go explore what's over there now. But to note that email notifications and account settings have moved down here to the bottom left to that settings section. So here we've got our AI business settings, our page languages, our GDPR, and then our profile settings like our currency, our time zone, our time format, and the theme light or dark. Email notifications have moved down here, but they look the same. We've got our to your leads, to your affiliates, and to your team. So this is an area that I think is super important just to go off of the 7.0 and just into Kartra in general. I think the email notifications is an area that a lot of users may not be fully aware of what to do in here and what are the things that, what are the things that you can do and that you actually should do when you set up your account. So this is something that I highly recommend if you haven't come into your email notifications, which in our current, like in your real account, you're going to find them in the top right under your profile pic. But um, you are going to want to go through all of the email notifications in your to your leads tab. These are the notifications that go out when these actions happen by default. So for example, this one at the top here, refund full confirmation to buyer. So that's for a full refund. And this is the email that will go out to your lead when you process a um a full refund, okay? And things are looking different here. So we see that there's settings on the left-hand side. And the email subject is over here and it kind of flies out. So that's weird to me because I'm like, where is it? Why isn't it at the top here? So that's definitely something that I know I'll have to get used to. You may have to get used to it as well with that difference. But we've got our subject text and our preview text. So same thing we have now, just in a different place. Attachments, we never, ever, ever use attachments, right? So no need for that. And then we have our dynamic variables over here. And the cool thing here is that now we have this little copy icon. So we can click on that to copy the email address variable or the first name variable, whereas we used to have to highlight and like manually copy ourselves. So that's kind of cool for that. Now, our components are going to be if we were using a full HTML. Um, in this case, it's text-based, and I would definitely recommend, even if you use HTML for all of your emails for these, it's good to use text-based just so that they really have that best chance of getting into the inbox, right? But we can see here that this email says this is a confirmation that the following transaction has been refunded, date, product, quantity, ID, refund amount. Okay. So if this was me, right, I would say, hi, first name. I don't like to just send someone an email and not have a salutation in there. And I'm also going to sign off, right? So you will want to come in here and edit these. Then let's see, we can click actions, save and exit, save or exit without saving. So let's save and exit on that one. There are others. And of course, I haven't gone through all of these, so I don't know what they sound, what they're all written like. But in our own real account, some of these say things like dear user, and maybe they've been updated, which is great. But you can see that a lot of these, they do not say hi first name, which is good because we don't want to assume that everyone's account uses the first name dynamic variable. Because if you do not ask for first names and some of your leads do not have them filled in, they will be uh, referred to as anonymous, and we don't want that. I'm just going to open up another one randomly and just see how it looks. Okay. So at worst, you may have some in there, especially in your live account, that say dear user, and you might not even realize that that's the email that goes out to your clients when you take that action. So please, if you have not done this yet, if you learn anything from this live today, please take an hour, a half hour, and go into your email notifications and customize those. Oh, Wendy, definitely do that. Yeah, in the inner circle, there's a training on it. So definitely go in there and go through that. Um, and I think your question here, we don't, about using the what was that in reference to? Attachments. Yeah, we never ever ever use an attachment when we're sending out emails to our leads. So attachments will sometimes land you in the spam folder. Sometimes they'll be stripped from your email, depending on someone's email protection that they have in their inbox, because attachments can easily be bad things like viruses and stuff. And what we would need to attach, as a marketer, as a business owner, as a coach, as a digital product seller, would likely be something like a PDF file that they need. And so we always want to make sure that um we host the file and we grab the link to it. So when we click on attachments here, see, what we don't want to do is attach that image as a file rather than putting an image in the email if we want them to see the image. We don't want to attach a PDF here. What we want to do is put the document into our media folder and grab the share link for it. And then we want to have something in our email that says, click here to download, and then we highlight that and put in the link to the PDF. We don't want to actually add it as an attachment. So, yes, like a PDF, exactly. Okay, so these are our to your leads. Now, similar to that, we have to your affiliates. This is if you have your affiliate program hosted in Kartra and you are, let me put me back so you can see me. And you are hosting your affiliate program in Kartra. These are the emails that would go out to them. So when they make a sale, they get an email. When their pending affiliate application is approved, they get this email. If you reject them, they get this email. And when you send your payment, when you mark that payment as paid in Kartra, this email goes out. Okay. So for example, for if this was my account and I had my affiliate program in Kartra, I wouldn't just want to say you've made a sale as an affiliate. I probably want to add in the dynamic variable for their first name. I maybe want to add a GIF of like some sort of celebration, or at the very least, maybe a celebratory emoji. Where's the little, you know, who knows? Maybe we just want to put in the star there, or the little emoji with the party popper. Okay, so you can really, don't forget these emails. You can add your branding in here. And then the other tab is to your team. This is where the default emails that get sent to you as the admin of your account, and any other team members that you set up notifications in here for. Um, so for example, in here, so it looks like in the sandbox, all of these are turned on by default. In our account, as it stands currently in Kartra, the lead fills in an opt-in form is turned off by default. So I always tell my new clients, my new students, my new members that we go into our email notifications and we turn on so that we get notified when an email uh, when one of our opt-in forms is filled in. There are two reasons for this. For most of us, we are at the volume where we do want to be celebrating every single new opt-in. In fact, even when I was part of a bundle and was getting hundreds of signups to my form per day, I did filter them so that they weren't in with all of my other emails coming in, but I did still want to see that as a visual, like through, every time I checked my email or throughout the day, I could see how many were coming in that day. The second super important reason, especially now in the internet we live in right now, is that spam bots are prevalent. They're hitting anyone and everyone's forms randomly. There's nothing you've done wrong to get hit by one. But it is the first line of defense. If you have these notifications on, when you see a notification that kind of looks hinky, you'll be able to go in and immediately delete that lead or the couple. If it's coming in fast and hard, you can delete them out, and you can put the captcha on your form to put a stop to them. Okay. If you don't have notifications on for when lead fills in an opt-in form, and you're actually not in your account very often, and then you log in and you see you have hundreds of leads that don't have real first names, that can be a huge problem, and your email deliverability may have taken a hit during that time. So that's an important one to have turned on. If you don't have that, again, this is one of those things that I hope you take away from joining me on this live today, is that you go in and you turn that notification on. Okay, so under our settings down here, we also have then our integrations. So in integrations, we don't have all of them in here because it's the sandbox area, right? But this is where all of those integrations for Stripe and PayPal and Zoom and Google Calendar and all of that good stuff will be. And then you have your API and your IPN if you're doing some um, more advanced. Oh, there they are. Okay, so that actually kind of looks different. So they are all in here. Um, this is what is set up, and then we have to click plus new integration and then go through and find which one we're integrating. And then we click on it and click next and then connect. Okay, so it is a little bit different of a process there, but just as easy. And then down in the bottom left, we have our resource center. Again, let me take me out of there so you guys can see that. There's the knowledge base, learning events, certified partners, and community. And if we click on that, it takes us to, okay, that takes us to the Kartra official Facebook group, learning events, probably to the sign up for, yep, the knowledge base. Cool. Okay. So that's all in the bottom left resource center. Okay. So in the bottom right, you'll see leave feedback. And when you click on that, it'll take you to support where you can log in and submit a ticket. And it says Kartra 7.0 beta feedback if you click on it from the sandbox area. So, this is also where you can go to open up a ticket for other things as well. But if you click on that in the bottom right to leave feedback, it's going to ask you here to open up a ticket. This is where, if you find something that you were hoping would be here that would be helpful and you think it would be helpful for everyone, then share it in a ticket. If you find something that doesn't look right and you want to share that as well, then you can share that in a ticket. For example, if we go back to the okay, so if we go back to our dashboard here, we're on our dashboard. I noticed that here under sales, it says upload your first product, which the word upload just does not make sense because we're actually not uploading anything when we're setting up our product, right? We're not uploading. And also, you'll notice that broadcasts say create your first broadcast, create your first help desk portal, create your first calendar. So, honestly, this should say create your first product. So, I'm going to open up a ticket and just let them know that. And it may already be something that's on the roadmap to consolidate because not everything is picture perfect for the rollout of 7.0 yet. But if you see things like that as well, or you find that you're clicking something and it's not working as expected, definitely open a ticket and let them know. It may be something that they're already working on, but it may not be. So don't make an assumption. And, this is your opportunity to really be helpful in the process of rolling out 7.0 if you wanted to. So that is the ability for you to do that down there in the bottom right, leave feedback. Okay, so now let's go to the top right. And we've got a global search. So if we are looking for something and we can't find it, let's just say we search for help desk and it's going to take us there. Um, let's see, the recycle bin is where we would find things that we have recently deleted if we need to bring them back. So that's a nice fail safe. Notifications for news and alerts. And then we have our top right profile. This is going to be laid out differently than what we see now. So we've got our dashboard. So clicking that plus clicking the Kartra logo in the top left will bring you back to your main dashboard. Team members, affiliate section, and sign out. Now, when I clicked on the affiliate section, you can see that it switched over into a different, you can see it says back to Kartra or sign out. So this is actually a different area with a different sidebar. So now over in the affiliate section, we've got marketplace, promotions, payments, and analytics, and settings down here. The settings down here, let's take a look at those. Account settings, that brought us back here, but you know what? Domains are over here under integrations, and I didn't see it on the other side. So I'm not able to scroll down. So that is definitely also something I'm going to open a ticket about because we can't see that until we go over to the affiliate section. And that's not where our domain stuff should be. But one of the big changes that Kartra is making in 7.0 is going to have to do with the affiliate um, with the affiliate management. So if you have affiliates turned on for your products now, you may have experienced that the user experience for your affiliates is not ideal. They have to log into a Kartra account of their own that is free, but it's a little overwhelming because currently their Kartra account looks just like ours. They have all the tabs that they don't need. It's a little confusing, and it's also kind of pushy if they click on them to upgrade to a paid Kartra account, which may not be anywhere near appropriate for your affiliates, depending on who they are and what kind of business you have. So in this new iteration, what's going to happen is when an affiliate logs in, they see this and they only see this stuff on the left here that's pertaining to affiliates. They're not going to see all of the other stuff that that we see in our full Kartra accounts, which is great. It's going to make it a little bit easier for them to click over into their payments and set up their settings and see their earnings and so on, right? So that is new, and that should be a huge improvement for those of you that are using the affiliate program for your products in Kartra. Okay, so then we can click back to Kartra. One thing I do wanna do is I just wanna go back into that affiliate section and see what the domains, page here looks like. Okay, so it's not letting me click into it, and it's possible that it's like that because this is a sandbox and they don't want us actually, like, setting up our domain in our sandbox area. But it would be I would, be curious to see what that's going to look like for the setting up of our integrating our custom domain and our DKIM. But those will probably just be under that domains tab when we get in there. All right. Anybody who's still live on with me now, do you have any questions? Please let me know. I'm happy to answer them. If I'm missing any comments, please don't be frustrated with me. I'm streaming to multiple places. I believe they're all coming into me, but if I have missed something, I will go back through. But please know I'm not doing it on purpose if I can't see something. Um, okay. So, I mean, that's really those are the big changes. I think you'll be relieved to know that it's not necessarily like that a lot of the things that we actually do in the day to day are changing in major ways, except for improvements. One of the most important ones of those being, I think, that when we are editing assets like a product, a form, a sequence, a membership, we can rename it or pop into the contents in a separate way, right? Um, let's see. When we click on the 3 dots here, we get to our automations for our membership, and that is going to take us where? Straight to our automation section of a membership, which I don't normally build any of these things within the membership itself. It happens previously in the funnel before they get to the membership, but it does take us right to that spot. The biggest update that I think everyone's going to just be so thrilled with is the ability to click through to each of these pieces of the settings without having to go through all of them in order to the end to just get to what you need. If you need to update that welcome email, you can do so really quickly, right? I love that feature. Um, Other than that, I think the simplification of the steps for new users is going to be really helpful. But I do see that simplifying what we see as well, just like in this case where we can click through to where we need to be immediately, it removes a lot of those extra clicks. So as Kartra stands right now, there's a lot of clicks we have to do to get from point A to point B, and that is going to be greatly reduced in 7.0. All right, I don't see any questions coming in, so I think I will wrap up. I do just want to remind you, um, very much so that you understand that when you're in the Kartra beta sandbox, it is not changing your account. It hasn't saying yes to that is not changing anything for you. You're not upgrading anything. You're not completely able to come back to your real stuff because it's a separate environment and it's really just a chance for you to play around in there, get used to it, give feedback if you want to before 7.0 does go live. See all the new features that we can be looking forward to, and if you need to, just if change is hard for you and you are used to working in Kartra in the way we have things now, it gives you the chance to just see what's coming up so that it's not a big it's not a big surprise or stressful in any way when that does happen. Thank you so much, Wendy. I appreciate you. Thanks for hanging out. Um And you're very welcome. You're absolutely very welcome. I'm happy to do this. Happy to share with you all. Um, and I'm really excited for these changes. And I really like this style of rolling things out with allowing everybody to kind of get in there, get your hands dirty, but not be changing anything around in your own account, right? You don't have to worry that anything that you're doing in here is going to affect anything live. Just please don't build a whole funnel that you absolutely love in the sandbox and then not be able to bring it over into your new account, right? Okay. It's been a pleasure sharing this with you. Thank you so much for those of you that hopped on live. And of course, I appreciate you if you're coming back through in the future and watching this on the replay. If you have any questions, let me know. You can drop a comment. I will come back and I'll answer other comments that come in. And if you have anything else that you'd like me to go live on, if you have a question, Kartra related, I'd love to have the opportunity to create some content to help you out. Take care. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day.